everybody, and thank you, Willie. It's wonderful to see so many fresh and bright faces here this morning. We may not look quite so fresh and bright because we were up very late last night practicing the dance routine, which will come later in the program this morning. I hope you enjoy it. Willie introduced us as outlaws, which is one interesting and provocative term, which is an effort to describe the kind of people who are leading social innovation in the world today. Outlaw, maverick, troublemaker, rogue, social innovator, social entrepreneur. These are all terms that the world is grappling with in order to be able to understand the kind of disruptive yet constructive place that people who are leading social innovation are creating for us in the world today. This morning, we all have a wonderful and quite rare opportunity to meet and to interact with three of the world's leading social entrepreneurs. These are all people who are mavericks and outlaws and who have broken old patterns and ways of doing things in order to pursue their own unique vision for how they can deliver a better form of social service and how they can improve the quality of life. And I'd like to introduce them to you. Our first maverick is Tony Malato, founder of Gawad Kalinga, an organization that is transforming slums in the Philippines by building strong communities. And by doing so, is actually transforming the entire nation of the Philippines. Now let's take a moment and watch a video that Tony has brought along with him.
What you have just seen is the journey of 10 students of NUS to see poverty face to face in the Philippines. They visited formerly typhoon-ravaged areas. And this year, we're expecting 1,000 students from Lien, from LKY, from NUS to visit us. This is the work of young people. I am the oldest in the group, and because this is about their future. And this is the work of ordinary citizens. I'm an ordinary person with no government position, with no business title, and this is the journey of that every human being can take in addressing poverty and protecting the environment. I started this movement 15 years ago by going to the worst slum in our country and to study the behavior of criminals. And I worked with about 2,000 of them. But then in transforming their homes, their communities, and we transformed their lives. And many of them went back to school, got jobs, and so on. So now we are in over 2,000 Gawad Kalinga communities. And the thrust of our effort now is not only urban transformation, but also to rural development, to keep the poor from, who are homeless and hungry, to come to the urban areas to squat and to make life miserable for everyone else. And it is a very simple formula of poverty reduction and environmental protection. Land for the landless, home for the homeless, food for the hungry. It's a holistic approach towards development, but empowers different organizations, schools, corporations, and government to work together. That it is only in transcending our own differences that we can build a nation, community after community, town after town. So we're now in over 400 towns throughout the country. We work with the mayors. We work with the national government. 5 days ago, I received a call from Malacanang inviting me to be part of the Philippine reconstruction team for typhoon victims. It is when we remove also the poor from vulnerable areas and build viable, sustainable communities for them through a self-help spirit and by helping one another. And so the work is transformative. It invites partnerships, but the goal is to really help the poor to help themselves. And again, this idea was very disruptive because in the past we always expected government to do everything for us and blame everything on government. And we always thought that to do this work you needed a lot of money. What we discovered, that if you go for the pocket, you get loose change. But if you go for the heart, the pocket will follow. I got this from a very profound American philosopher in a movie called Field of Dreams. Build and they will come. And so we started the first community in Manila. We're now all over the country. We have about 30 communities for Muslims and built by Muslims and Christians, even in the Abu Sayyaf territory of Sulu. And so we realized that no human being was born to be a criminal or to be a communist rebel or to be a terrorist. But it is when we restore human dignity, when we also build our politics on caring and build our economics on sharing, that not on greed, that no one is left behind, that we can build a better world. This is an Asian a model of a poverty reduction that started in Asia, and we have started our group in Indonesia, in Cambodia, and in Papua New Guinea, and we now have a team in East Timor. But we realized that this is the next phase of the evolution of the world is the Asian age, and we became poor simply because we lost our birthright, our patrimony 400 years ago, when our colonial masters took away all our land. And as of today, 70% of our people are still landless, squatting in the most dangerous areas. 40% of them also squatting in urban areas. But when we showed that it is possible for the rich to donate land, because in this formula, no one is an enemy. The government is not the enemy of the citizen. The business is not the enemy of the consumers. The rich are not the enemy of the poor. The landowners are not the enemy of the landless. When we showed landowners that by giving a portion of their land, we can reduce poverty and landlessness, and the rest of the land areas will go up in value. So now we have land coming out of our ears. We have enough land to build the 7,000 communities that we projected in 2003. And it is for this reason also that government is starting to listen to us. When you have, unless you have a big idea, no one will listen to you. But then again, development for us is a numbers game. Number of consumers, a number of voters. And so we are here in Singapore after setting up the GK Hope Initiative, because Singapore has become the hub for social innovations in Asia. And we get support from Singtel, that is doing business in the Philippines, from Ascendas. I met with the CEO of Ascendas yesterday. I'm meeting with the CEO of Singtel this afternoon. Yesterday I was with the Ascendas group, simply because they also forced their own relief support for the Philippines through our organization. There is no lack of generosity in the world, but somehow there is a lack of trust, and it is building your work on credibility and also building it on the ground that people can see, that people can participate in, and it is into transforming the lives of the poor themselves so that they will no longer be beneficiaries, but they themselves can become benefactors. I come to Singapore now every month. You know, we work with the Lien family. They have built also hostels in some of their sites, because more and more Singaporean students will help also, will be coming to our country to really promote also the trust of Singapore to share technology and to share also development with the neighboring areas. If Singapore can do it, we can do it. And our dream of GK is by 2024 to bring 5 million families out of poverty, and also to use it as a model for other developing countries in Asia. So again, this is our contribution to the Asian AIDS. Not only are Asians now the emerging force in North America by showing the world that we're no longer second-class citizens, after having been colonies for many years, that the Asians now are the top citizens of North America. We can show them that we're not just a place to outsource, but also that we will rise and become prosperous nations, because we will help one another, and we will bring our people out of poverty, we will protect our environment, and we will build a better world, at least in this part of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. And what comes through so clearly from your remarks and from your short film is your sense of belief and confidence in people's ability to transform their own lives and to take leadership in their own prosperity, which is something you share in common with our next troublemaker, David Busau. David is a social entrepreneur from Australia. His microloans to people starting their own businesses in the developing world have helped 30 million people worldwide. And David, I understand that you've also brought a short film to help us get a sense of your work. Right? Let's see the video.